Text 11, 12, and 13. So I'll just read the Sanskrit and transliteration and translation, and then I'll chant the Sanskrit for 13 a couple of times, and then we'll unpack this chapter. Ete vayam nyasa hara raso kasham gatariyo gadaya javitaste Tishtamahe tapi katanchid ajo stayam kwayamo balinotpadya vairam. Ete ourselves, vayam we, nyasa of the charge, haraha thieves, rasoksham of the inhabitants of Rasatala, Gatariya, shameless, Gadaya, by the mace, Javita, chase, te, your, Tishtamahe, we shall stay, Atapi, nevertheless, Katanchit, somehow, Ajo, on the battlefield, Stayam, we must stay, Kwa, where, Yamaha, can we go, Balina, with a powerful enemy, Utpadya, having created, Bairam, enmity. Certainly we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatala, and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time, because, having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go. The demon should have known that God cannot be driven out of any place, for he is all-pervading. Demons think of their possessions as their property. But actually everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take anything at any time that he likes. Text 12. Twampad ratanam kila yuta adipo katashvano swasthaya asvanuha samstapya chashman pramijashru swakanam yaswam pratigyam nati par pipartyashabhyaha. Translation. You're supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. A demon may be a great soldier and commander of a large number of infantry, but in the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is powerless and is destined to die. The Lord therefore challenged the demon not to go away, but to fulfill his promised word to kill him. And text number 13. Maitreya uvacha so dikshipto bhagavata pralabdas charusha brisham ajaharol banam krodam kridyamano hiradiva Maitreya uvacha so dikshipto bhagavata pralabdascha rusha brisham ajaharol banam krodam kridyamano hiradiva Maitreya uvacha so dikshipto bhagavata pralabdascha rusha brisham ajaharol banam krodam Vidyamano Hiradiva. Maitreya, the great sage, Maitreya, Uvacha said, Saha, the demon, Adikshiptaha, having been insulted, Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead, Pralabdaha, ridiculed, Cha, and Rusha, angry, Brisham, greatly, Ajahara, collected, Ulbanam, great, Krodam, anger, Kridyamanaha, being played with, Ahirat, a great cobra, Iva, like. Sri Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. A cobra is very fierce before ordinary persons, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is a plaything. Similarly, a demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord, he is insignificant. The demon Ravana was a fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Ramachandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva, but to no avail. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Gena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So this is the description of Hiranyakashipu's brother, Hiranyaksha, who had extracted so much gold out of Mother Bhumi, the earth planet, that she fell out of her orbit into the Garbhodakshay ocean. This is the problem in the society with demons. They can consider themselves to be the proprietors and possessions of all that they see. As described, Pumso Strio Maitani Bhavame Tam Tayor Ega Vidya Granti Mahu Ato Griha Shetra Sutapti Vitayar Janasya Mohoyam Mahammameti. They're so bewildered by the external energy of the Lord, Janasya Mohoyam, Aham, they're only considering I and mine. And they become very proud of their limited power. Hiranyakashipu himself performed such great austerities that he heated up the entire universe to such a point that Lord Brahma had to come and inquire from him, well, what is your desire? Why are you causing a disturbance within the universe? So these demons are very proud of their so-called strength and power, and they are very fond of engaging in battle, engaging in bellicose, belligerent activities, always challenging the demigods, always denying the existence of God. Asatyam apratishtam te jagarahuranishwaram. Aparasparam sambhutam kimanyat kama hoitukam. They say that there's no God. Who cares for Vishnu? As we see here, Ravana, he was like, who is this Ram? He's just a mortal. You defeated all the demigods, Shiva, Brahma, they all bow to me, Indra. Hiranyakashipu also, he occupied the Danava gardens of the demigods, and he occupied the throne of Indra. So the demons, for temporarily, they're very proud of their power. Śrīla Prabhupāda describes also in the Bhagavad-Gītā 16th chapter, Dambo Darpo Abhimanasya. So they're very proud of their accomplishments. Like Prabhupada said in this in the Bhagavad-Gītā, etam dristam avastapya nastalpanolpa buddhaya. With this mentality that they're greater than anyone and they have no time or use for God, and that they themselves are the most powerful, and they will accumulate wealth, they will destroy their enemies. This whole mentality, of course, is mode of passion and ignorance. But Prabhupada says in this purport to this verse, etam dristam avastabhya, nastalpanolpa buddhaya, prabhavanti ugra karmana. So they engage in all these technological activities, industrial pursuits, industrial enterprises. Prabhupada said they're so proud of their atom bomb in that purport. They're so proud of their bomb. At any time, they can destroy Shayaya Jagato Hitaha. They can destroy their own so-called advanced civilization. Yes, we have rockets. We can fly to the moon, although they've never been to the moon. Or they can do this, they can fly around in their so-called wonderful airplanes. But they have no idea how exalted the Vedic culture was. Just by mantras, the Brahmins killed Maharaj Vena. Just by mantras. He was so demonic. He said, why are you worshiping Vishnu? You people, you Brahmins, you should do all yagas for me. I am the supreme. And the Brahmins, they got so indignant. How you should at least have respect for the Brahmins. They simply touched water and uttered some mantras, and he was killed. Of course, in this age of Kali, we don't have these powers as Brahmins. We don't have these powers. But we see that even 5,000 years ago, the end of Dwapara Yuga, that Arjuna, he invoked mantras and released the Brahmastra, which is, Prabhupada says, a nuclear weapon. Because Aswatam had released a nuclear weapon at the Pandavas to kill them. And Krishna ordered Arjuna to, by mantra, neutralize with his nuclear weapon. So Prabhupada explains that these powerful mantras and weapons were there within the hands and possession of these great devotees of the Lord, like the Pandavas. They were blessed by the demigods. Lord Shiva gave his bow Gandiva to Arjuna. This is 5,000 years ago. Now in Kali Yuga, everyone is more or less a demon. Kalua Sudra Sambhava. At least everyone is born Ita Dvesha Samutana Dvandva Mohina. Everyone is born in illusion, overwhelmed by the dualities of desire and hate. Samasara issue. All the living entities are deluded by the external energy of the Lord. So, fortunately, we have the mercy of Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya. But here, although Hiranyaksha, we know that he was cursed. He was a gatekeeper, Jai and Vijay. They were gatekeepers at the seventh gate of Vaikuntha. And they, by perhaps the divine arrangement of the Lord, or by somehow they were angry at the four Kumaras, who were great sons of Lord Brahma, and they cursed them. You take birth, there's no such thing as envy here in the Vaikuntha planet, so they cursed them. Of course, Krishna likes to fight. Fighting spirit originates in Krishna. So when Krishna wants to fight, he wants to fight with his devotees. And there's so many lessons to be learned when Krishna engages in these various pastimes that we hear about. Queen Kunti says, just as an actor on stage is not recognized by the foolish observers, so the Lord, he is enacting all these wonderful pastimes to show us that the demons will always meet with defeat. Parabhavastava the Bodha Jato. Yavanya najagyasata atmatadvam. Yavastavat kriya siddham manovai. Kamatmakayena sharira bandha. That the demons, parabhavas, means defeat. They always meet with defeat. Why? Because they don't know what the purpose of their lives are. Dharmasya hi apavargasya. The goal of our life is to become free and develop in bhakti yoga and attain the lotus feet of the Lord, thus ending this cycle of birth and death. So here, Krishna takes a form. What kind of a form? Can take any kind of form that he wants, but still he's very beautiful. He's here, he takes a form of a boar. And Hiranyaksha is also very powerful and great. You can imagine this earth planet was just like a little football in the hands of Hiranyaksha. And he was extracting all the gold, and Bhumi fell into the Garbhodakshaya ocean. So these demons were massive, huge demons. And Lord Varaha, he came out of the nostril of Lord Brahma. He appeared from the nostril of Lord Brahma. And then he expanded and expanded and expanded. So they were having this massive fight within our universe. Such huge beings. And they had these massive maces, these clubs, and they were smashing each other. So this is the Lord's pastime. There's no question. The Lord is Ajita, unconquerable. What to speak of a little demon like Hiranyaksha? The Lord is so powerful. Yasyaika nishvasita katamata valambyam jiveta loma vilaja tadanandanata Vishnu Maha. That Lord Vishnu, he is an expansion of Krishna. He is a Purusha avatar. He is an expansion of Shankarshan, who is an expansion of Lord Balaram, who is an expansion of Krishna. From the pores of his skin, Jiveta Loma Vilaja, that from the pores of his skin, little universes are coming out, billions and trillions. With one of his breaths, Lord Brahma lives for 311 trillion years. Let us try to understand the perspective of the Lord, that he is so powerful and great. Nanavatarama Korod Bhuvaneshu Kintu, that there's so many avatars forming, like trillions of just like waves in an ocean. So like this tiny little universe, or these demons are appearing, and the Lord appears as Lord Varaha, and he wants to do battle with his with this demon. What we learned from this is that there are two classes of human beings, the divine and demoniac. And Krishna tells Arjuna that you are divine. So, divine qualities are described by Krishna in many places, 12th chapter of Bhagavad-Gītā. Advaishta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaro samadukha sukhakshami. A devotee is never envious of any living being. Maitra, he is friendly to all living beings. Karuna, he's very compassionate to all living beings. He has no sense of proprietorship. Nirmamo, nirahankaro, he doesn't have a huge false ego, that he's responsible, that he is great, he can control everything. Nirmamo, nirahankaro, sama, he's equal in happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, fame and infamy. So the divine qualities are there in devotees because they're always absorbed in glorifying the Supreme Lord. Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam. Always glorifying the Lord. Kavitram iditam. kavitam iditam, salma kalmasapaham. Oh my Lord, you are the life and soul of those persons who are always engaged in hearing your words and your transcendental qualities, which are given by kavitam iditam, by the great sages and learned persons. Shravanam Mangalam Srimad Atatam. Certainly, one who hears the wonderful glories of the Lord, Shravanam Mangalam, attains great good fortune, because Srimad Atatam, the glorification of the Lord, is very powerful. So there's a wonderful verse that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes in the pastimes, and he's quoting Bilvamangal Thakur, who actually composed this beautiful verse in his Krishna Karnamrita. So devotees of the Lord, they want to hear about battles, but the battle is in relationship to Krishna and his avatars. It is very sweet and fulfilling and rewarding, and it relieves one of all inauspiciousness. It relieves one of all the dangers of the material world. Katayantaschamam nityam. They're always glorifying the Lord. Tushyanti cha. And they become satisfied by hearing these wonderful pastimes and glories of the Lord. Now here, Lord Varaha is having a wonderful time with this Hiranyaksha. Although the demigods, of course, the demigods, sometimes they're influenced by the modes of nature, and so they're a little bit wondering, is he going to kill this demon who is causing so much problems, so much this disturbance within the universe? The Lord wants to, of course, Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya cha duskritam. So the duskritinas are those who are within their hearts very envious of the existence of the Lord. It's like nowadays, we're very active in going out and chanting Hare Krishna to the public and distributing Śrīla Prabhupāda's literatures. We're very active in spreading the mission of the Lord for the benefit of the conditioned souls, for the benefit of the fallen souls. However, we always encounter persons who are envious, who are hostile, who are violent to the devotees of the Lord. This is the situation. It is part of the process. It is historical that devotees of the Lord become harassed by the demoniac class of man. And so Hiranyaksha, first thing he did was he went to Varuna, the king of the oceans. He said, I wish to do battle with you. They're always eager to inflict punishment on others. Paraduka duki. They always want to see the misery of others. This is a demoniac quality. These demons, Prabhupada describes, are in the mode of passion and ignorance, the lower modes of nature. So they have no peace of mind, and their hearts are full of darkness, hate, envy, jealousy, all the qualities of demoniac people. And Varuna recommended, oh, why should you fight with me? I am not so high person, powerful being. You should approach Lord Vishnu. And Hiranyaksha took up the challenge. So here, Lord Varaha is challenging him. Heroes, like Krishna tells Wandraka, heroes do not speak too much about their glories. They simply stand and fight, face the enemy. Suryateda Dviti Jaksha Yudyecha Chapalarayam. in the 18th chapter, the quality of a Kshatriya, warrior. Yudhye cha kapalalayam, one who steadfast in facing the enemy. He doesn't run from the enemy. He either dies or is victorious. It's real Kshatriya. So here, Varaha is telling him, why were you speaking? You promised to kill me. So come on, let's go. Let's engage in battle and see what happens. Of course, Sukadeva Goswami was questioned by Parikshit Maharaj. How can you say that the Lord is equal to all? That's in the end of the 6th chapter, beginning of the 7th, 6th canto, beginning of the 7th. Is the Lord actually equal to all? Because we saw in the 8th canto that the Lord, he does give preference to the demigods in the form of Mohini Murti. He stole the nectar, gave it to the demigods to drink the immortal nectar. In many cases, it seems that the Lord has gives preference to his devotees. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesho stina priya. Ye bhajanti tamam bhaktya maite teshu chapya. He says, I'm equal to all. I don't favor anyone, nor do I dislike anyone. So Krishna, of course, is transcendental. Lord Varaha is transcendental. So he's equal to all. The Lord is equal to all. But we see that he killed Shishupal and Dantavakra. He killed Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And now he's about to kill Hiranyaksha. And further down the line, he's going to kill Hiranyakashipu. Oh, so Sukadeva Goswami is asking, is being asked by Parikshit Maharaj, how can you say that the Lord is not favorable or disposed preferentially to his devotees? Prabhupada describes that when Krishna sucked the breast of Putana, he sucked her just like his own mother. He nursed from her just as if she's his own mother. And therefore, when he took her life air out, the Putana became an assistant to Mother Yashoda in Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual world. The Lord Krishna is eternally in the spiritual world. And when he killed Shishupal also, it's described that Shishupal, his head was chopped off by Lord Krishna's Sudarshan chakra. Shishupal was just insulting Krishna. He rejected the acceptance of Krishna as the chief guest at the Rajasuya sacrifice of Yudhishthira Maharaj. How could you have this cowherd boy? We really don't know who he is, who it casts. Why are you putting him as the chief guest, the honored guest at this Rajasuya Yaga? Well, Lord Shiva's here, Lord Brahma's here, Lord Indra's here, great sages like Narada Muni, Agastya Muni, who's various great sages are here. How could you select Sahadev? How could you select this person, cowherd boy, who stole Rukmini just like a crow who steals ghee from the sacrificial arena? How could you do this? He's blaspheming the Lord. And of course, eventually Krishna didn't want the whole sacrifice to be disturbed. All the demigods were there, the great personalities from higher planets were all there, participating in this great Rajasuya Yagya. And so he summoned his Sudarshan chakra and chopped his head off. At that point, Shishupal's soul came out from the body and entered into Krishna's body. He got Sayuja Mukti. So when Krishna The demons, as is stated in the Bhagavad-Gītā, Aneka chitta vibranta mohajala samavrita prashakta kama bhogeshu patanti narakesu cho, that bewildered by their material desires, they're mohajala, they're caught up like fish in a net. Prashakta kama bhogeshu, they're simply thinking how I want to exploit this material world. It is my world to enjoy. It is meant for my enjoyment. Patanti narakesu cho, then they are cast down into the hellish planets. Tanaha dushasakuram samsareshu naradamam. Krishna says the demons are the lowest class of men, naradamam. Shipamiyajashumashubam. Krishna says, I cast them into asurishu eva yunishu, the lower species of life. What is that? Dogs, cats, worms, insects. People don't have any knowledge, no vision that in the next life you can take birth in such a germ or a worm in stool. You can take birth as an insect that depending on the mode of nature, if you die in the mode of ignorance, tatapralinas tamasam muto jonis ujayate. Krishna says, if you die in the mode of ignorance, then muto jonisu, you take birth in the womb of an animal. What a great misfortune. So Krishna kills Hiranyaksha, he kills so many demons, and they get moksha, they get the 5 types of moksha: Shrishti moksha, Sayuja moksha, Salokya moksha, the various 5 types of liberation. Of course, Prahlad Maharaj tells Nrsingadev, I don't care for the 5 types of liberation. I don't care for these things. I don't engage in my service to you for some benefit, not even moksha, not even these different types of liberation, the same planet as living on the same planet as you, having your association, having the same bodily features as you, the same opulence as you. These things I'm not interested in. Narayana parasarvena kutaschana vibhiti svarga pravarga narakeshu apitulyartha parshada. Described in the 6th canto, the Narayana Parayana, devotee of the Lord, as long as he can serve Krishna, as long as he can serve the devotees of Krishna, as long as he is 100% engaged in devotional service without any motive, he's willing to go heaven or hell. It means nothing to him. Yomam pashati sarvasya, sarvam chamai pashati, yasyaham na pranashati, sachame na pranashati. That devotee of the Lord sees Krishna everywhere. Is he in the pillar? Yes, Father, he's in the pillar. Then I'll break this pillar. And out came Lord Nrsingadev. So, unfortunately, they don't understand who is God, who is Krishna. He's not just, a big boar or a half man, half lion, or a fish, or a tortoise. He takes these different forms out of his own whim, out of his own desire to have some wonderful Leela pastime, as Matsya Avatar, as Hayagriva saving the Vedas, as the tortoise incarnation of the Lord, Kurma, and the demigods and demons are churning the ocean of milk and getting all kinds of wonderful things from the ocean of milk. So these are all wonderful pastimes. Why? Yad yad vibhuti mat satvam shrimat urjitam evava tatat evavagatatvam mamotejam shashambhava. All these wonderful things devotees love to hear about, they're very purifying. And they're all very wonderful. These wonderful activities are their superhuman activities. Krishna says, all these wonderful things that you see are just a spark of my splendor. No one can imagine the power and wonders of Krishna, at the same time, we learn that he is the son of Mother Yashoda. He is herding cows in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. He is having pastimes with cowherd boys who may climb on his shoulder, who may dust off his peacock feather. He's accompanied by Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam, that he is accompanied by and surrounded by trillions, Sahasrasata, trillions of goddesses of fortune. He's surrounded by trillions of gopis, milkmaids. The Sarabi cows in the spiritual world fulfill all desires. They can do anything. They're not ordinary, but they're very, very important to Krishna. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha. Jagathetaya Krishna, Govindaya, Govinda, the protector of the cows. Namo. Like this. So the Lord, through his agency of Shridaksha Vishnu, he appears in these different forms. Ramadi Murtashukala Niyamena Tishtan, Nanavatara Makarud Bhuvaneshu Kintu, Krishna Swaya Samabhavat Paramahapamanyo, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That like Lord Rama and other avatars, the Lord appears here in this deep, this dark place, this Ekapad Vibhuti, this corner of his creation. His creation is unlimited. We can't count the amount of universes coming from the Lord, created by the Lord. Even Krishna doesn't know the extent of his own opulences, his beauty, his sweetness. None of these things are even Krishna cannot capture completely. But everyone wants to love. So Krishna is the object of love. Love can only be satisfied when it's invested at the feet of the Supreme Autocrat, as Bhaktisiddhanta said, the Supreme Autocrat, Supreme Lord himself. Pita, the father of all living beings. So Hiranyaksha is demonic. He's exhibiting demonic qualities. But still, Krishna sees he's my part and parcel. He's my child. He's a rogue child. He's wanton child, rebellious child. So now Krishna is rectifying. And whatever he does in the form of his incarnations is for the benefit of all because he's absolute. Whatever he does, apapa vidham, he's never touched by sinful reactions, sinful activities, killing the demons. So many demons he was killing. The Vivida gorilla killed by Lord Balaram, of course. Banasura was defeated by Krishna. Of course, he promised, Lord Vamanadev promised that, my dear Bali, I cannot kill your descendant. He told, and Nrsingadev told Prahlad, all your descendants and ancestors, 21 generations back, they'll all go back to Godhead. So Banasura's arms were cut off, devotee of Lord Shiva. The demons, they're in the mode of passion and they worship demigods. So Hiranyaksha will have this violent fight with the Lord. And here in the purport, Prabhupada says that a cobra is very, very fierce, but an enchanter can play with him as a plaything. So for the demigods, it's stated here that Ravana was very fierce. But before Lord Ramachandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva. But he is still vanquished. We know that Hiranyakashipu, he was having a battle, doing battle with Lord Nrsingadev. And Lord Nrsingadev was so effulgent that when Hiranyakashipu went close to him, he disappeared within the effulgence of Nrsingadev. And Nrsingadev played with him just as Garuda plays with a serpent, it said. And he would let him go and then come back. So there are many fearful elements in this world, like snakes and so on. But in the presence of the Lord, they're reduced to nothing. Therefore, devotees of the Lord, they're very fearless. Abhayam Shatvasham Shudir. In the 16th chapter, Krishna delineates the different qualities of a devotee. And the first one he mentions to Arjuna is Abhayam. And Śrīla Prabhupāda was also named by his father, Gaur Mohan De, and his mother, Abhayam, Abhay Charande, Abhay Charande, one who is fearless and then at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So devotees of the Lord, because they're fully absorbed in remembering the Lord, then they are constantly fearless and willing to go to any risk, take any risk for the deliverance of the fallen souls and for the service of the Lord. They know that the Lord will protect them in any situation. Jada Bharat, he was brought before Kali, goddess Kali, statue, Murti, and he was going to be sacrificed, human sacrifice by the dacoits. And he didn't protest, he stood there. Pure devotee of the Lord, completely absorbed in Krishna and prema, love of God. And they took the big chopper and they're about to sacrifice him. And Kali was so angry, being a devotee of Lord Krishna, the wife of Lord Shiva, she broke out of the statue and killed the dacoits. And the witches who were followers of Durga or Kali, Mahakali, they also came and they were cutting off their heads and drinking their blood and becoming intoxicated by their blood. And Jadabharta was taking shelter of Krishna, no fear, like that. Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, simply chanting Hare Krishna, constantly chanting Hare Krishna. And he was condemned to death by the officials, the Muslim officials. There was complaints about his chanting and so on. So they beat him in 22 marketplaces, these constables. He should have died, but he was fearless, continued to chant. He said, you can break my body to pieces, but I'll never stop chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That in the age of Kali, Kaliya Dari Kirtana, the only performance of sacrifice is this chanting of the holy names of God. That is the only means of deliverance, the only panacea, the only kind of sacrifice to Krishna is this chanting of the holy name. And Haridas Thakur is the Namacharya. And we know that after he was thrown in the Ganga, he pretended to be dead. He went into samadhi or trance. And the constables threw him in the Ganga. And then subsequently, they all met with great misfortune. They all died. Their village, their relatives all died. Everyone got the reaction of sadhu nindana, offending a great devotee of the Lord. Very, very dangerous. So this is the pastimes of the Lord's devotees. We know that Durvas Muni, he offended Ambarish Maharaj, and Sudarshan Chakra was after him, chasing him all over the universe. Durvas Muni is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he was able to go even to Vaikuntha and beg Vishnu, please protect me. Lord Vishnu said, you offended my devotee. I have no such jurisdiction, no such power to protect you. You will have to go and beg at the lotus feet of the one Ambarish Maharaj who you offended. And this way, perhaps you can get some relief. So ultimately, Durash Muni, great Muni, he had mystic power. He could travel throughout the universes. He went and begged forgiveness, offered his respects to the great Ambarish Maharaj, who was simply following the process of fasting for the benefit of, for the pleasure of the Lord, and for himself to become more and more engaged in pure devotional service. And Durvasha Muni was forgiven. The devotee of the Lord is Shama, very forgiving. One of his qualities is he's very forgiving. Toleration, forgiveness, these are interchangeable. Titikshava Karunika, Surida Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatravashanta, Sadhava Sadhubhushana. Kapila Dev in the third canto. Devotee is tolerant and Shama, forgiving. Surita Sarvade, he's a friend to all living beings. We see everyone. Even Mars Prickett encountered Dharma the bull being beaten by the personality of Kali. And even Dharma the bull explained that actually not a blade of grass moves. Nothing can happen without the sanction of the Lord. So I cannot blame this personality of Kali, because everything is sanctioned by the Lord. So whether it's the identifier of the sin, the perpetrator of the sin, the receiver of the abuse, he cannot blame the perpetrator. After all, nothing can happen without the sanction of the Lord. So like this, he was very tolerant, this Dharma the bull, and he was there with the cow who was also being beaten and terrorized by the personality of Kali. This is in the first canto. And Mars Prickett, the demon Kali, surrendered to Mars Prickett, the king of the entire world, not just this planet, but all the 7 Varshas. And so because he surrendered, Mars Prickett had to give him some forgiveness and express some compassion for him, like that. So this is the mentality of the devotees, that they're tolerant and friendly to all living beings. They're forgiving. And here we see that Krishna, eventually he will end up killing Hiranyaksha. And Hiranyaksha himself gets the benediction of the liberation into the Vaikuntha planets eventually. First of all, he has to come secondly, he has to come as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And then again, he appears Shishupal in Dwapara Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, they come as Jagai and Madhai here in Mayapur. And in this time, although they are murderers and rapists and pilferers, they burn people's houses down. They're very demoniac, although they're born in Brahmin families. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, by the arrangement of Lord Nityananda, he says, I will show the world how magnanimous Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is by forcing the hand of Lord Chaitanya. So he approached Jagai Madhai, and Madhai broke his head with earthen pot. And Jagai was saying, no, don't. Nityananda is a sadhu, don't. But Madhai was drunken and so on. And Lord Chaitanya invoked the Sudarshan Chakra. Who is Lord Chaitanya? He's the Supreme Lord himself, the Lord of all the universes, the all-powerful Lord. Came as a devotee, And then Nityananda said, in Kali Yuga, you have to be most merciful to the most fallen. Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar. You're the avatar that is so merciful even to those who offend the devotees. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Jaga and Madai. And for momentarily, they were so sinful that Lord Chaitanya's beautiful golden glowing form suddenly turned black, dark, like darkness from all the sins. So Jaga and Madai, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, they are all were cursed by the four Kumaras. Jai Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras, take birth as demons. And then Gauranga Mahaprabhu shows them special mercy, and they become pure devotees, and they get to participate in this great Sankirtan movement, which is distributing love of God to all those fit or unfit. They are able to taste the nectar of the holy name, taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness, of Krishna himself. This holy name is so sweet. Madhuram, Madhuram, Vapu, Asya Vibho, Madhuram, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram. That Krishna's body, his Vapu, is very, very sweet. And more sweet than his body is Vadanam, his face. Madhugandhi Mridu, Smitam, Eta Aho, and even sweeter than Krishna's face is his sweet smile, which is like flowing honey. Madhugandhi Mridu, Smitam Eta Aho, Madhuram, 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 Madhuram. Sweeter still is the beautiful honey-like smile of Lord Krishna. So in this verse is spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And devotees of the Lord are being given access to the sweet chanting of the holy name. Simply by chanting this holy name, performing this Sankirtan Yagya, and giving it to the public, one experiences the nectar of the entire nectar of Krishna's beauty and sweetness, his form. It is so full of nectar that the more we chant, the sweeter it gets. So this is the great benediction here in Kali Yuga, that we are so fortunate to receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his descendants, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, the six Goswamis and his devotees, and recently Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then our great Senapati, the great general, Śrīla Prabhupāda, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who Bhaktivinoda Thakur predicted a great personality will appear, and he will take this sweet chanting of the holy name and spread it throughout this world, every country, every city, all over the world. Everyone will hear the chanting of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is non-different from Krishna. It is full of the potencies and ecstasies and beauty and shaktis of Krishna, Radharani, and Balaram. So that is our good fortune, and we have to make others fortunate as well. And this way, by pleasing the acharyas, they will benedict us and bless us with more and more understanding of pure devotional service and the high taste of this holy name of the Lord. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. I'll end here, and we can take some comments if you like.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much, Prabhuji, for
Hare
this
Krishna.
wonderful beautiful Krishna Katha. Of course, as always, very beautiful. I was kind of charmed. The so many things going on in my mind and asking myself what was happening, because it's more or less like watching a movie through our ears. Hiranyaksha and Varaha. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations you may want to ask, share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your comments, reflections. Prabhuji, I have this question. Again, thank you so much for speaking. I believe that Lord Krishna, especially when he comes down to this material world to enact a pastime, he does not enact his pastimes in vacuum. In other words, whenever he performs pastimes, there are other beings there to witness what's going on. And I am wondering, how were the devotees of the Lord, the family members of the Lord, those who knew the Lord as the Supreme Lord, how did they feel and what did they do when they saw and heard so many of these demons raining insults at him? Like you talked about Shishupal, how Shishupal was insulting Krishna, and Krishna's family members were there, his devotees were there, his loved ones were there. What did they do? Like in the case of Hiranyaksha, also as we read it, it's very funny and weird how Hiranyaksha was insulting Krishna. And definitely, I believe, there were devotees of the Lord there witnessing these insults. What did they do? We had Duryodhana, who was also insulting the Pandavas. The Pandavas actually wanted to do something, and Yudhishthira stopped them. So I'm asking in this sense as to taking some cues and guidance when a similar situation happens to someone, at least we love, we so very much consider to be very dear to us. What should be the reaction of the devotees when their Lord is being criticized or insulted unnecessarily?
It's a very important point you made, Prabhu. Prabhupada, in a purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this quotes some verses where it's stated, if one hears or sees the blasphemy of the Lord, one should immediately remove himself. That is if he cannot cut out the tongue of the blasphemer, or take the life of the blasphemer and take his own life. So, of course, those are very extreme responses to the blasphemer of the Lord. But those were quoted by Prabhupada in one place in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'd have to find it. At least Śrīla Prabhupāda said, also in the Bhagavad-Gītā, that one should immediately leave that place or else he will become contaminated by the sinful reactions of Vaishnava aparad. So, of course, we know that Shishupal was blaspheming Krishna in the assembly, and all the kings, all the devotees, except for a few who left, some of the faithful also left the arena assembly hall, but many of the kings and Kshatriyas got up and took up their weapons to kill Shishupal. But then Krishna intervened because he didn't want, bloodshed and warring here in this assembly with all the demigods and people from Charana Loka and Siddha Loka and Tapa Loka again. All the higher planets were there. However, they were very angry. So Prabhupada said anger can be used in the service of the Lord when someone is, the Vaishnava is being vilified, being attacked, being assaulted, being blasphemed, that one can become angry. Many times on Harinam in the USA and North America, Canada, people would attack devotees. And many times, myself personally, I would take kartals and smash them. I remember one time I crossed Maidan in Bombay at the big Pandal program organized by the devotees, the first batch of devotees, Shamasundar and so on. These two drunken students climbed up on the back of the stage, and Śrīla Prabhupada was chanting, and Brahmananda was sitting right behind him or next to him. And these rascals, they started pulling on Brahmananda's sika. And Prabhupada turned around and he took it like Sudarshan Chakra, the kartals, and he smashed them right in the head. And they got so startled that they just ran off the stage and disappeared. They were drunken students. So Śrīla Prabhupada was also like a lion. Many, many times when our devotees were attacked, especially in America, there's so much hostile and belligerent, bellicose, very, very violent people. Fights would break out with devotees and demons. One devotee, Tranakarta, in Chicago, he was a very expert in martial arts, karate, kung fu. He was expert. And when demons attacked devotees, he would engage him and they would break their arms or knock them out. This is all recorded, documented pastimes of devotees in the days of preaching. Śrīla Prabhupada telling us to go out and preach every day, and was really pushing us to distribute his books. So many cases, myself thrown in prison many times, in jail in America, Canada also, by demons, harassed by demons, wrongfully hit by demons. It's going on. And devotees we would always attack the demons, and somehow or other we would prevail. And we know that certain devotees were killed by demons. But then we know that they will be punished severely at the time of their deaths by the Yamadutta, as described in the fifth canto. So yes, we have to protect devotees.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for the answer. But the response again leads me to another question, and that is by Guru Krishna's grace and mercy, I witnessed this firsthand so many times that actually there is no difference between Krishna as a person and then his name, as we chant in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because we'll go out on traveling Harinam, and of course this is Africa. Lots of the time people will like to test their devotees, how spiritually powerful they are. And almost every single time, without devotees doing anything special to counteract these demons, devotees overcome the attacks of the demons. We've seen this so many times. It's just there, thank you. But I believe there is a difference between the holy names of the Lord, and then any mantras that, or any words that anybody may speak. We know that words have very much power, very much effect. But I am wondering who, I've asked this question like maybe 3 or 4 times, but I mean, I receive answers, but it's still a botheration to me. Who actually affects the pronouncement of other people to make their words effective? In other words, like in Africa, if I hate, let me see who I see here. I see Madhuban. May Krishna forbid. If I hate Madhuban, and then I say, I'm saying this, that Madhuban does not get money to pay his electric bill. That is my wish. And simply because I said that, Madhuban will not get the necessary money he needs to pay his electric bill. Now the question is, who made my words effective up to the point that Madhuban was unable to get money to pay his electric bill? And this is part of the reason why some people believe that there is no God. Or if there is God, then he is not all-loving, because if he were all-loving, how does he allow someone being a devotee of his face so much difficulties, like in the life of Lord Jesus Christ? No. It's bewildering. I've been asking and asking, but maybe today may be my last time asking from the answer you gave to this dilemma I have. I just can't understand why these demons are given so much power to torment the demigods and the devotees of the Lord. Like Śrīla Prabhupāda said in the purport of 13, 3:18-13, we read today that cobra is a very dangerous serpent and is very much feared by almost everyone except those who are charmers. And we see even the demigods were afraid of the demons except Krishna. So why would Krishna give so much power to these demons to torment his devotees?
Well, as we know, and Prabhupada says, the demons, they may have some temporary power. However, in the long picture, in long term, they always have to receive the consequences of their actions, for one thing. At the time of death, I mean, the 5th canto, one who abuses or tortures a devotee of the Lord or a saintly person is taken by the Yamadutas to a hellish place called Suchimukha, I believe, where that person is tortured and punished for many yojanas or whatever, many years. So there's descriptions of these hellish tortures going on at the time of death. So it's very, very dangerous to assault or abuse a devotee of the Lord. We know that Lord Jesus Christ, Prabhupada always said, he was simply preaching, and in the course of his preaching, he was killed. Unwarranted killing, unfairly killing. And what did he say? Please forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. So because he's a transcendental personality, when Haridas Thakur was being beaten to death in 22 marketplaces, it is described that he was praying, my dear Lord Chaitanya, my dear Lord, please let me take the sinful reactions of their animosity and violence to me. Let me accept their sinful reactions and let them go back to Godhead. So the lesson here is that in this material world is full of danger. And even if a devotee is sometimes killed, as I have witnessed, 2 or 3 devotees killed by demons. One was in Africa. One was in Hawaii. He was stabbed in the heart trying to protect the devotee. Ultimately, Krishna will protect him that he will go back to Godhead. In most cases, if Krishna desires, then even the body of the devotee is protected. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Marobi Karobi Yo Icha Tumara. In death or in life, I am yours. Everything, Manasa Deho Geho Yokichumora, Arpalantua Pada, Nandikishora. That everything that is within my jurisdiction, my house, my mind, my words, all my activities, my relatives, everything belongs to you, O son of Maharaj-Nanda. This is surrender in the heart. This is not surrender of the mind and body. This is surrender of the heart. And therefore, the devotee is always dependent on Krishna and sees Krishna as protector, master, and friend. Krishna, if you want me dead, I accept. Because nothing can be sanctioned without Krishna. Nothing is allowed, nothing can happen without the sanction of Krishna. So the ultimate test is in the face of death, will you forsake Krishna? Or you'll say, Krishna, take me. Prabhupada said that when the bombs were falling in Calcutta, he was thinking, Krishna has come to take me back to Godhead. And the bombs are falling. The Germans, I believe, were bombing the British colony of India. Prabhupada said that we saw the bombs as Krishna coming to take us. The demons, on the other hand, were seeing the bombs as death personified. Krishna says, I come to you as death personified, take everything away. But for devotees, he even sees death as Krishna coming to take him back home, back to Godhead. Not afraid of death. Dhruva Maharaj stepped on the head of death, entered the airplane to Vaikuntha. So this is the understanding of the transcendental devotee of the Lord. Tatenu kampam shushamikshmano bunjane vatma kutam vipakam. Vigragva puvir vidadan namaste jivete yomukti. In any situation, any reverse conditions, torture, death, injury, whatever, Krishna promises jiveti yomukti pade sadaya, that my devotee, he will be taken by me to the next situation. He's always in the embrace of Krishna. The gopis were saying, we don't care, Krishna has a headache. And the Brahmins were, oh, no, I can't give the dust from my feet. I'll go to hell. The gopis were like, let us go to hell. Let us relieve Krishna of his headache. Take the dust from our feet. So this is the pure devotee of the Lord. He's willing to give his own life for the pleasure of Krishna. What to speak of anything else? It's all coming from Krishna. Whatever is said by Krishna, I see it as a test. I see it as a way to strengthen my faith, as an opportunity to chant Hare Krishna, Kunti prayers, Vipadarsham tuta shashvat tatritacha jagat guru. Bhavato darshanam yadshat apanar bhava darshanam. My dear Lord Krishna, let these calamities come again and again. Poison cake, burning of the lac house, stealing of property, stealing of the wife of the partner. Let all these things, all these calamities come. For then you will come in my mind, Krishna will appear and relieve me from this cycle of birth and death. So let calamities come. It makes me strong, makes me dependent on Krishna. And Krishna, of course, in many cases, ultimately, he will protect his devotees. It doesn't always mean protect them from being killed. Arjuna's son, Abhimanyu, was slaughtered. Draupadi's 5 children from the Pandavas, they were all beheaded by Aswatthama. They were devotees. They're born of the Pandavas. Abhimanyu was born of Subhadra and Arjuna, and he was killed. But they are fearless. They accept it as some arrangement, divine arrangement, providence of the Lord. So we see it in this way. We see all obstacles, all reverses, all attacks. We simply take shelter of the Lord. We start praying to the Lord in difficult situations. Our faith becomes stronger. That's how we were taught by Śrīla Prabhupāda also. So many attacks will be there by the demons. It's Kali Yuga. They'll attack us in so many ways, try to stop the movement from going forward, stop devotees. But we simply have to keep chanting Hare Krishna and go on with determination and confidence that Krishna will protect his movement, his mission. Our business is to help the innocent people who are seekers, who are looking for solutions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm very grateful that you did not deny that these attacks will be going on and probably are going on in our lives. Some of us may not be devotees at all, but the mere fact that we're trying to serve in Śrīla Prabhupāda's mission, there will be attacks. And I see some of the common and predominant means of attacks are not like mace or bullets or bombs, but is false propaganda. Many people say so many false things about devotees, or sometimes even about Śrīla Prabhupada himself. So when we have devotees who have studied the scriptures and also lived with the founder Acharya and share with us, these sharings are very helpful to us. So we're very grateful for sharing this knowledge with us today. We have 2 hands up. Vijay Krishna Prabhu, please, you may unmute. And if possible, you may turn on your camera, if only it's possible.
No, it's not possible.
Okay, so go ahead and then speak.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. To the speaker, I don't know his name. I'm sorry.
He's called Kripanidhi Prabhu.
Kripanidhi Prabhu, thank you. You're most kind. So my question is related to Krishna chanting to Arjuna in his Bhagavad-Gītā As It Is, that the process of Krishna consciousness is joyfully performed. And then at the very end of Bhagavad-Gītā, Krishna promises that if you surrender unto me, I will save you from all sinful reactions. So sort of no more, you will not have to suffer because of your sinful reactions. I will take care of it. But then what we see is, like you just mentioned, is demons attacking the devotees, and we see I have an account on Facebook, and in the feed of Facebook we see news about devotees after a lifetime of offering of service to ISKCON and to Lord Chaitanya's movement. They're asking for help because right now they're being they're at the end of their lives. It's happening that they're falling ill, terminal diseases. And the whole world is watching the Hare Krishna movement, and they may know that in Bhagavad-Gītā, Krishna chants, yes, the process is joyfully performed, and I will protect you if you surrender to me. But then the news are the exact opposite, that devotees are suffering in hospitals, are being attacked by demons. The host of this meeting just mentioned false propaganda. In the beginning of the movement in the United States of America, the movement had to go to court because of being accused of being a sect, a cult, brainwashers, etc. So based on all of this, my question would be, who is going to want to adopt the process of Krishna consciousness after seeing that nothing that is being promised by Krishna in Bhagavad-Gītā is actually happening? The exact opposite is happening. So is it so discouraging that now, this is just theory? Bhagavad-Gītā, it's just a book, because the actual facts show that the exact opposite is happening, that no joy, not joyfully performed, because who is joyfully performing Krishna consciousness while suffering of a terminal disease in a hospital? I don't see how. And where is the protection against the devotees are so surrendered, a lifetime of surrendering, and still, but where they're suffering so much? So suffering from what? Isn't that we should expect for Krishna to prevent from such suffering to happen? After all, he did declare at the end of Bhagavad-Gītā, I will protect you. You will not have to suffer because of your sinful reaction. So, my concern is about new devotees not joining the movement because it doesn't match what Krishna is chanting in Bhagavad-Gītā and what's happening in reality.
Okay, Vijay, I think Prabhuji and I think the audience have gotten your question, concern. So if I think I get what you're saying, Prabhuji gets what you're saying. So Kripanidhi Prabhu, if you may take up his concern. It's kind of very broad. Thank you,
First of
Vijay
all,
Krishna Prabhu.
first of
Uh,
all, one has to understand the predicament of the non-devotee. One may be a big president of a country in Africa or anywhere, but every day, if he's not following this dharma, if he is engaged in sinful activities, he will take birth in lower species of life for millions of lifetimes. The depth of the consequences of committing, for example, animal slaughter, eating cow's flesh, the consequences of engaging in illicit sex, these are extremely profoundly, deeply repercussive consequences after death. There is Yamaraj, the Lord, the judge of death, judge of one's karmic activities. However, if one just says Krishna once, if one even hears, Haridas Thakur is described, that even if you hear Rama in a word, Ra the beginning and Ma the end, at that moment you become free from all sinful reactions that you committed for millions and millions of lifetimes. Therefore, Krishna says, Neha Vikramo Nasosti Pratyabhadad Navidyate Swapam Atma Dharmasya Trayate Mahatobhayat. The greatest fear in life is not following the directions given by the great acharyas in the Sampradaya, Vaishnava Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. In this verse, Krishna says, even a tiny little bit of Krishna consciousness will save you from the greatest fear. Would you like to take birth as a germ in the stool of a hog? That's what's going on at the time of death. Prabhupada once mentioned that one astrologer in India, he said that Jawaharlal Nehru took birth as a dog in Stockholm, Sweden, after being a big prime minister of the whole of India. So we don't know. We have no vision. Nate vidu. We don't know our future because we're not educated. So when Krishna says, I'm protecting you, this body is few years, you're done. And he may protect your body, he may not, but everyone's dying. Everyone's having disease. People suffer from poverty as well, non-devotees, devotees. These are, a devotee sees it differently from a non-devotee. The non-devotee becomes very depressed or envious. Why these people have so much, I have very little. I mean, Śrīla Prabhupāda was saying to a newspaper reporter, a TV reporter in Chicago, Krishna's giving us so many cars all over the world, every city I go to. There's so many vehicles. Devotees every day are eating nice prasadam. Devotees, for the most part, my whole life, I've always been provided by Krishna. But death comes, disease comes. But Krishna says, Jara Marna Moksha that becoming freed from birth, death, old age, and disease. Jara Marna Mokshaya, old age, disease, death. This is there common for everyone who has a material body. But at least for the devotee, he sees death as a time to remember Krishna. He sees death, as Prabhupada said, bombs are coming, that is Krishna. Otherwise, people are suffering so much due to sinful activities. Even in this life, the mind is your greatest enemy. Prahlad said, my dear father, your only enemy is your mind, because it's agitated constantly for material sense gratification and material possessions. It's agitated by your false ego. It's agitated by envy, anger. So Externally, you may have so much power and gold and prestige and followers, but internally, you're suffering because you're not surrendered to Krishna. So it may not be so obvious that these personalities who are presidents and prime ministers and so on and so forth, multimillionaires and billionaires, externally, oh, it looks so nice. But internally, they're suffering. The Bhagavad-Gītā says it. Rajasastu phalam dukam. In the mode of passion, which is most prominent in the Kali Yuga, passion and ignorance, people are suffering every day. Even if they own millions and millions of dollars, they're still suffering because they have no idea who they are. They have no idea how to cultivate Krishna consciousness and raise your mind and consciousness to the mode of goodness. Karmana sukritasya, he sat become nirmalam phalam. In the mode of goodness, one's heart becomes pure and one's mind and senses become illuminated by peacefulness and happiness. These are symptoms of sattva gun. Unfortunately, most people are suffering from the external energy of the Lord, Maya Devi. So because someone is dying in a hospital, just like, yeah, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna be old lying on a bed. But Śrīla Prabhupāda has shown us his body was completely emaciated and he was chanting Hare Krishna. Bhishma Dev was lying on a bed of arrows, full of arrows, but he was remembering Krishna and glorifying God. That is the perfection. Not that you're not going to meet with good and bad in this world, but in this 12th chapter, if you read it, Tulyaninda Stuti Monir Santushtayena Kenachit. One who is equal both in fame and infamy, who is Moni, who is grave, Santushta, who's always satisfied because he's transcendental to the body. He is a soul transcendental to this body, and he is a servant of Krishna. Therefore, Mai Arpatamano Buddhi, his mind, his words, his body, his activities are all dedicated to Krishna. And Krishna says, Yo Bhaktim Sachame Priyaha, that devotee is very dear to me. If you're dear to God, what is the question of any kind of devoid of being protected? If you're a devotee of God, he'll protect you. Not from death, not from disease. He'll protect you from what's going on in the future. And he'll even protect you at the time of death. He'll help you remember him. Janma karma chame devyam yome vititattvataha chakvadeha punar janma naitima. One who knows that Krishna is a transcendental supreme personality of Godhead and that his appearance and disappearance are transcendental, then at the time of death, he goes back to Godhead. No more birth and death, disease or old age. That is Krishna's promise. You simply have to take this process seriously and simply chant Hare Krishna and engage in your occupation and remember Krishna and dedicate your life to Sri Krishna and the Acharyas. Time of death, you will remember Krishna will protect you. He'll help you remember him.
Hare Krishna.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much. Yes.
if I may, I liked it when you mentioned Bhishma Dev in the bed of arrows.
Mhm.
So well, acute suffering now, and still his Krishna consciousness was not disturbed in such a way that Lord Krishna came for him to be seen by him. for him to fix his eyesight on the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the very end of his life. I like that. And in the chat, Madame Gopal Prabhu just sent me an answer to my question, and I would like to just read the very end.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Madame Gopal Prabhu.
It's here. At the very end of the message, with the title Final Thought. Protection in Bhakti is not the removal of storms. It is, number one, being given a stronger anchor. Number two, being guided through the storm. Number three, and ultimately being taken to the right shore. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Madam Gopal Prabhu, for being here. It's an honor to have your darshan here today. Thank you so much. And Kripanidhi Prabhu, thank you so much. We should remember Prabhuji is speaking from India, and so his time is a little late for him. So I see one hand, and I think once we take that, we may bring this to a final close for today. So Hare Chakra Prabhu, please, if you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to you. All glories
All
to
glories to Śrīla
Prabhupada.
Prabhupāda.
And all glories to the assembly. Yeah, I want a little bit clarification because during your presentation, you made mention when you talk about King Ambarish, you said he was the king. He was the king of all the earthly planets. So I thought King Ambarish was only the king of this planet.
I mentioned that Parikshit Maharaj and Yudhisthira Maharaj, that they were, Prabhupada mentions that Yudhisthira Maharaj sent his brothers to different varshas. There's 7 varshas on Jambudvip, which is where we are. One is Bhard Varsha, and we have Rudra Varsha, Ilavarta Varsha, different varshas. So in those days, these kings, Raja Rishis, they covered not just the Bhard Varsha, but they covered and ruled other areas of this Jambudvip. So the cosmology is a little different in those days. Of course, we see that at the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhisthira, Lord Shiva, he came from Rudra Varsha, Ilavarta Varsha, I mean, which is close by Bhard Varsha. Lord Indra came from Indraloka, which is in the heavens. Then members of the highest planets, even Lord Brahma was there. So in the terms of cosmology, these kings had much infinitely and inconceivable powers as to what we know now. Now that we're limited to these, these different continents, Africa, North America, South America. Prabhupada says there's these various continents that make up Bhard Varsha. But if you look at the cosmology of Vedas, there's 7 islands. The first is Jambudvip. Jambudvip is surrounded by salt water. And there are 7 varshas on Jambudvip. One of the varshas is where we live. It may be a little confusing because it's described as an area, a tract of land, whereas we see that the planet is considered to be a globe that's floating around. So Ambarish Maharaj, I didn't mention if he was ruling. various
No,
places.
I think it's the Yudhishthira one that you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, Yudhishthira Maharaj
Yeah.
and Purkit Maharaj. So sometimes when they say the Earth planet, Earth, it means Jambudvip. Sometimes it means Bhumandala, area where the
Okay.
solar system is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I was asking that question, because I understand, like, from the fifth canto, that apart from the Bharat verse, all the other verses, like the inhabitants there, their lifespan is like 10,000 years. So if Parishit was ruling the the Bharat verse, and at the same time ruling those who are having a lifespan of like 10,000 years, so I was a little bit confused.
So it's described that in Kali Yuga, or in Dwapara Yuga, Purkit Maharaj was in Dwapara Yuga. Krishna and the Pandavas, they were the end of Dwapara Yuga. And the lifespan is much different from Kali Yuga, which is considered to be maximum 100 years or so.
Okay.
So in each yuga, it's different. I believe Dhruva Maharaj ruled, he performed austerities for thousands of years. Kapila Dev's father, Kardama Muni, also performed austerities in Satyuga for thousands of years. So the different span of each yuga is different. This Kali Yuga is only 432,000 by solar years. Dwapara Yuga is double that, and Treta Yuga is double that, and then Satyuga, the time of virtuos, where there's actually all the four legs of Dharma are all intact. Austerity, mercy, cleanliness, and compassion are all, everyone is basically Paramahansa in those ages. So when we read the scriptures, when we read the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions that sometimes it's referring to just Bharatvarsha, or sometimes it's referring to the kingdom, the earth as more than Bharatvarsha. However, in one place, which you may have mentioned, some of these varshas, people are really enjoying. They're really enjoying. And so they're not so inclined towards surrendering to Krishna. On this Bharatvarsha, there's quite a significant amounts of suffering. Therefore, people, in a sense, are much more inclined towards devotional service to Krishna. And that's a benediction that in Bharatvarsha, I believe Prabhupada mentions that many demigods want to take birth here because the process is very, very simple and easy. This chanting of Hare Krishna in this Kali Yuga is a very easy process by the mercy of God. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute. Oh, Prabhuji, do you have any concluding remark? Kripanidhi Prabhu.
No, I'm very grateful and thank
Okay.
you very much for your association. It was very exciting, very enlivening to discuss these wonderful descriptions of the Lord in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're fortunate we have a very diverse audience. Like the other devotee who asked the question, Vijay Prabhu, he is speaking from Portugal. So we have different.
Yes. From the Azores archipelago, Portuguese Azores archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the set of 9 Portuguese islands.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much. So devotees, we're going to request you all to kindly unmute and we all, with one voice, one heart, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, express our deepest appreciation to our beloved uncle, His Grace Kripanidhi Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all. Jai Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Haribo! Oh, glories to African
Hare Krishna,
Yatra.
His Grace, Kripanidhi Prabhu
Hare
ki
Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you very much.
Co-founder Acharya Śrīla
Haribo.
Prabhupāda ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to